Good afternoon, all the participants. Once again, I welcome to one and all to the third session. This session is on geoinformatics and landslide management, and speaker is Mr. Abhijit Patil. He is working as assistant professor at Shivaji University, Kolhapur. He has completed M.Tech in geoinformatics from Bharatidasan University, Tiruchirappalli. He submitted his PhD thesis to Shivaji University, Kolhapur. He is qualified SET exam in 2017. He completed his training program, e-cognition training 2D and 3D AutoCAD in 2018. UAV drone survey training in 2019. He has proficiency in ArcGIS, QGIS, EVE, ERDIS imaging. He has published 4 research articles in different national and international research journals. He had submitted his M.Tech dissertation on semi-automated extraction of landslide using object-based image analysis and comparison of geospatial models for landslide hazard zonation along Chenab Valley, Jammu Kashmir. He is expert in programming languages like Basic C, C++, Basic Python, .NET. He has studied GNSS surveying, database and web technology. He also completed his study remote sensing and GIS for disaster mitigation and management. Remote sensing and GIS for environment monitoring and urban and regional planning, as well as hydrology and resource management. He completed online education also. He completed training program of IIRS online EduSat for remote sensing, GIS and GPS. So, we have proud of such highly techno-savvy resource person and our ex-student Mr. Abhijit Patil. So I welcome Mr. Abhijit Patil for this session. Please, Abhijit Patil.
Greetings. Welcome to the one-day national webinar on geoinformatics and disaster management. First of all, I would like to heartfully say thanks to Yashwantrao Chavan Varna Mahavidyalaya Varnanagar for organizing such a nice program in timely manner. I am Abhijit Patil, Assistant Professor, Department of Geography, Shivaji University, Kolhapur, going to deliver a lecture on landslide disaster management and geospatial technology. Before going to talk the core part of the landslide studies, we should aware about the definition of landslide. Many authors, many researchers or scholars have given different definitions about the landslide. So here I have mentioned the general definitions of landslide. So landslide is an outward and downward movement of rock or soil or rock material along the slope. So landslide is basically controlled by the endogenetic and exogenetic forces of the earth. In India, landslide is the major natural disasters where the significant portion of the landslide lies in mountainous areas like Himalayas and Western Ghats. About 12%, now recent report says that the 15% land area of our country is prone to landslide disaster. In the month of June 2013, Kedarnath region suffered its worst disaster in its living memory with huge loss of lives and widespread destruction. In Maharashtra, landslides are basically triggered by heavy rainfall in Western Ghats. 14 July 2014, landslide is occurred in the village of Malin in Pune district. Landslide which hits early morning while people were slept and killed at least 134 people. So this is the present scenario of landslide over the India as well as Maharashtra. Now what is the significance of this research work? As people move into the new areas of mountainous terrain, it is important to understand the nature of their potential exposure to landslide hazard. It is also important to have the landslide disaster maps or models of particular area so that the local area management and state government can take action to meet future challenges rather than to wait for disaster to happen. So this is the intensity and necessity of landslide research work. In the landslide studies, many terminologies frequently used. So there are mainly 4 terminologies in landslide, that is landslide inventory, landslide susceptibility, landslide hazard and landslide risk. One by one we will discuss here. First is that the landslide inventory. The landslide inventory shows location and extent of historical landslide. It is nothing but the collection of historical landslides. If you have the particular sources of historical landslide, then you can easily draw or you can easily trace the historical landslides. So like there are multiple sources, you can also generate the landslide inventory. Like there is one technique, object based image analysis or object based classification, we can say that. So by comparing 2 satellite images, we can generate the landslide inventory. For example, if landslide is occurred in mid 2015 like June, and if you have 2 satellite images from the same year from January 2015 and another one is December 2015, and then by comparing these January and December images, you can easily trace the June landslide. How? Because if landslide is occurred, when landslide is occurred, then fresh soil or fresh rock material exposes in open atmosphere, and when the satellite took the images, then this fresh soils gives us the more electromagnetic radiation. So that's why we can easily trace by comparing 2 satellite images, means pre-landslide image and post-landslide image. So this is one of the technique to generate the landslide inventory. Another technique to generate landslide inventory, that is you can use the Google Earth. Google Earth, in that Google Earth there are many historical satellite images are there. So by comparing again this historical landslide, you can easily draw the inventory or landslide, previous landslide. Then another second one term is that landslide susceptibility. Landslide susceptibility shows the probability of spatial occurrence. How much is probable to occur the landslide in particular area? So there can be low probability, there can be a high probability, or there can be a medium probability. So this is one of the terms which is frequently used in landslide studies. Then next one is that is landslide hazard. Landslide hazard shows the spatial probability as well as the temporal probability. Temporal is nothing but the time probability. So here some dynamic features also are considered to analysis the landslide hazard, like dynamic features like rainfall is the dynamic feature, temperatures. Likewise, there can be a multiple dynamic features can be considered to generate the landslide hazard. Last one, that is the landslide risk. So landslide risk is nothing but the hazard and consequences. It is one of the result of hazard and consequences. For example, I will give you the example. Here 2 landslides occurred in 2 different places. One landslide is occurred in remote areas, there is no any settlement or there is no any population, and another landslide is occurred near to the population or near to the settlement area, and both landslide have same intensity, and suppose both landslide is occurred in different places. So what will happen after that? which one is more hazardous? The landslide which occurred near to the settlement, which it will give the more consequences, negative consequences. People can lose their life or property. So that's why, suppose landslide is occurred in that area where the remote, where the population is nothing, then there is no any consequences. But a landslide occurred near to the population, then consequences or negative consequences will be more. So risk of landslide is here very high near to the population. So that is the risk factor. In that risk factor, elements also can be considered like road, population, farmlands, buildings. So these are all some element of the risk. So these four terminologies frequently used in landslide studies. Then this slide is representing the types of landslides. Like first number diagram is representing rotational landslide, then translational landslide, block side landslide, then rock fall, topple or toppling, debris flow. Mostly the debris flow like Kedarnath region. In that region, the debris flow was there. Then debris avalanches, then earth flow, creep. So there are many types on the basis of speed of landslide, material, how material is falling into the downslope. So on the basis of that, these types are considered or decided. So these two pictures are representing the landslides which are occurred in our country. So most disastrous landslides occurred in 2013 in Kedarnath region. We can see the Kedarnath temple, and near the settlement also is there. So there was a huge intensity of landslide, and it took near about 5,000 lives, and also it destroyed the multiple properties. And this is again one landslide is occurred in Maharashtra, that is a Malin landslide, and it's also took more than 138 people. They lost their life due to the landslide, and some people lost their property also in this landslide. So you can see the panoramic view of Malin landslide and its feature. Now, what is geospatial technology? The technology relating to the collection or process of data that is associated with location. We can say that geospatial technology, it is a combination or collection of different approaches or technologies to solve a spatial problem. So what kind of technologies can be incorporated into geospatial technologies? So yes, there are many technologies or approaches like global positioning system, GPS, it is one of the technology. Remote sensing, it is related to the acquire information about an object without any physical contact with that object. Then geographical information system, GIS, that is computer based system to acquire, analyze and process the geospatial database, that is GIS. So in that GIS, multiple softwares we can use to analyze the landslide data. Then again there are some different technologies like GNSS, then geostatistics, cartography is there, geodesy. Likewise there are multiple technologies are there. So we can call it as also geoinformatics. So these geoinformatics can be useful for the landslide studies. Now how we can apply this geographical information system, remote sensing or geospatial technologies into landslide studies. So with the help of these softwares or with the help of the remote sensing satellite images, we can generate the landslide inventory. Earlier also we have discussed about how to generate the landslide inventory. So high resolution satellite images can be used to detect the historical landslides, and the digitization of historical landslides can be also possible through the Google Earth satellite images. And this landslide inventory mapping can be done using different GIS softwares. Some GIS softwares can be purchasable. So with the help of those softwares we can analyze or we can generate the landslide inventory. So here we can see that original satellite image, and it is again segregated these images, or we have created a single object. We can call it as the segmentation process. So if we use the 30 as a scale, then the segmentation is very large, and if we reduce the scale of this segregation or segmentation, then we can see the smallest object also we can identify. And if you want to identify the smallest landslide, then we have to use the smallest scale, but there might be some errors also. So that errors we have to rectify by semi-automated extraction approach. Automatic method will give us the result, but in that result there might be some errors. So that errors we have to manually reduce those errors by using the expert knowledge, and we call it as the semi-automated extraction approach. So here again one map is representing that some types of landslide, then extent and location of the landslide we can see here. So these are all some landslides. Then again the landslide, in the landslide inventory mapping, 2018 image is there, then 19. If we compare these both images, then we can find this landslide. For example, here in 2018 we cannot see here landslide, but in 19 we have one landslide signature. We can say that in between this year landslide is occurred, and this landslide is traced here in with the help of landslide inventory mapping. In 2017 also is there, then in 14 also near to the road one landslide is small landslide is occurred in between the 2014 and 15. So this is the object based image analysis. Then this is the automatic extraction of landslide. The computer algorithms automatically extract the landslides, and those landslides have to manually correct. And if you correct these landslides, and we can generate this landslide inventory mapping, and we can call it a semi-automated extraction approach. So these are all some corrections like this. So small corrections are there, and these small landslides are removed from the last output. So these are all the manual corrections. Then this is actually, this image is representing the extent of the landslide. Mostly this extent we can see that this is like the road passing from there, and landslide is occurred here. This is one dynamic image representing how the landslide is occurred with the time period 17 to 18 mostly. This is the USGS, United States Geological Survey images has been taken here. Then again one of the example of Romche, and it representing the landslide activity through these both satellite images. This image is representing 2013, and this is from 2014, and then you can see how much landslide extent in that particular area. So you can easily draw the outline of the landslide, and you can get the extent of landslide. Here one dynamic also landslide is representing. Then already Geological Survey of India, GSI, has already done one survey, and in that they have given the point inventory, landslide point inventory. They have not given the extent of landslide, but they have given only the point location where the landslide is occurred, and you can analyze this landslide, and we can call it as the frequency of landslide. So here this is the Western Ghat of Maharashtra, and mostly landslides are occurred in these regions like Kolhapur, Western Kolhapur, Eastern Sindhudurga is there, Ratnagiri, Satara, then Pune is there, near to Pune and Thane. There are some landslides. So these landslides inventories has been done by Geological Survey of India and available into the Bhukosh portal. Then again this is one of the landslide inventory in Chenab Valley in Jammu and Kashmir, and one scenario of landslide is representing here. This road is passing into the valley, and this particular landslide is occurred near to along the road. and this is also one of the scale parameters. And in the image segmentation process, this is the post pre-image and this is the post image, and if you compare this, then you will have the image you will have the landslide inventory mapping. Then it is again important thing to preparation of environmental factors using remote sensing and GIS technology. So these geo-environmental factors are considered for the landslide susceptibility and landslide hazard analysis. So there can be different geo-environmental factors like geology, geomorphology, lineament, earthquake, land use, land cover, soil, rainfall, slope, TWI, topographic wetness index, topographic curvature, stream power index. So these are some geo-environmental factors which are responsible for the landslide occurrence, and it is very essential to map these geo-environmental factors to form thematic layers. So these are all some thematic or geo-environmental factors. So this is NDVI, then location map is there, then road network, slope map, lithology map, settlement, river, curvature map is there. Then again some multiple layers we can generate through GIS environment. In that GIS software we can create some layers or maps by using the different sources, data sources like drainage. You can use the DEM database, digital elevation model, earthquake database. You can also you can find some sources for that. Then elevation you can generate through the digital elevation model. Geology you can take from Geological Survey of India. Geomorphology also you can take from NRSC. Lineaments also. Land use, land cover you can generate if you have the satellite image. You can easily generate that by supervised or unsupervised classification. Then this major thrust, geological thrust is there. Then NDVI, if you have the satellite image, you can generate the NDVI data. Then precipitation, IMD can provide you the precipitation data. Then road database, by Google you can trace this road database. Settlements also you can trace. Slopes, then slope you can generate by using DEM, and this is the landslide inventory. So all these databases are essential for generating the landslide susceptibility and hazard. So if you want to generate the landslide hazard or susceptibility, you need to select the appropriate model or susceptibility model. So there are many models are available in GIS approach, like linear weightage analysis. It is one of the model of multi-criteria decision analysis. Then analytical hierarchy process, it is one of the model of MCDA. Frequency ratio, this is statistical model. SIVM, it is again statistical model. Then LMRF, landslide numerical, actually N is there. Landslide numerical risk factor, this is again statistical model. Artificial neural network, it is very advanced model, we can say that it is very advanced and based on the artificial intelligence. Then support vector machine, again it is based upon the artificial intelligence. So these models can be used for the generation of for the creation of landslide susceptibility model. This is the map which showing the landslide susceptibility for the Chenab Valley in Jammu and Kashmir, and the statistical information value model, SIVM model, is used to generate landslide map. And here you can say the black color is representing landslide inventory. These are all inventories have been traced by using different sources. Then this is the river data, then settlement also is there. And this is the zonation map, susceptibility zonation map. So green color is representing there is no any landslide susceptibility, but red color is representing that the very high landslide susceptibility is there, and mostly near to the Chenab Valley the landslide high susceptibility is representing there, and also the how much area is covered into the which category is representing here. So as like you can generate the landslide susceptibility model by using geospatial technology. Then what is the landslide risk? We have already discussed landslide risk is nothing but the landslide hazard and landslide consequences. The combinedly result is the landslide risk. So again, one definition is given by Coromines. He says that the landslide risk is defined as the likelihood of a natural hazard occurrence determined by the damage resulting from the probable consequences. It is the combination of landslide event and its negative impact or consequences. So here one format for is there. The disaster risk is equal to vulnerability into hazard divided by the capacity. So it can be determined by the presence of three variables. It is very important, three variables, that is the hazard or natural or anthropogenic hazard, vulnerability to the hazard, and then coping capacity linking to the reliance of a community. So here we can easily understand what is actually risk is there. So risk is the combined effect of hazard, vulnerability, and element at a risk. So multiple element at a risk is there, like buildings, then lines. We can draw this in the form of point, line, and polygon also. So the people, building type, then infrastructure, then road. These are all some elements of or types of elements. So the combined result is shows the landslide risk. So here what is hazard, what is vulnerability, and risk is representing. Risk is the probability that hazard consequences and create losses. So here one map of southwestern Ghat of Maharashtra representing landslide risk assessment of road, and road is taking as a element at a risk. And here we can see this is the one of the study area, case study of Western Ghat, and it representing hazard level also, and risk level of road is also representing. In that hazard, mostly you can see near to the very steep slope of Western Ghat is representing very high hazard level, and in that hazard level the road risk is representing. So here this is the enlarged scene of this particular area near to Dajipur, Ponda Ghat. So in that Ponda Ghat, this part, this dark blue color is representing very high landslide risk in that road is representing, and then blue color is also representing high intensity, and then white color and other colors are representing the lowest risk of the road. So here the total in this study area, total 331 kilometer road length is there. In that road, near about 50 kilometer road is representing very high landslide risk in the road. So this map will be very useful for the PWD and other disaster management institutes to for the creating awareness about the landslide. Then again, this one map is representing that landslide risk assessment for the building risk. So each and every building is traced by using these points, and near about 18,839 buildings are there. So each and every building is digitized here. You can see the largest scenario of these buildings. So every building is digitized, and this finally this map is created, the landslide risk map for the buildings. So how many buildings are representing very high risk? Risk is very high. In that very high, 34 buildings are representing very high risk, and this blue color is representing the very high, for the very high, and this yellow color is representing for, here you can see this yellow color is representing for the high risk zone. So near about 980 buildings are coming into the high category, and 34 buildings are coming into very high category of landslides. So this again map will be useful for the people also, which building is coming into which category. So this is for the building map. Then again, when this map is representing for landslide risk assessment, farmland risk. So again, these farmlands are representing in the form of red color, blue color, and this blue color is representing high and very high intensity risk of landslide. So you can see that. So these blue color are representing the high risk for the farmland area. Then this is again one example of landslide risk for residential. The red color is representing for the high, and green color is representing for the lowest residential risk for the landslide. Then for again risk for road network, so again red color is representing here road. This road is coming into the very high category of landslide hazard. Then there are many landslide preventive measures. So many institute like International Union of Geological Sciences and NDMA. So likewise there are different institutes which are work on landslide preventive measures. So they have prepared a short list of landslide remedial measures. So here I have categorized these landslide preventive measures in two major categories, that is the geotechnical engineering based preventive measures, and second one is that community based preventive measures. So again we will see that in preventive measures, geotechnical engineering based preventive measures. So first is the modification of slope geometry. So we have to identify those slopes which are more probable to landslide. So we need to modify those slopes like what we can say, the natural form to the cut slope forms. So here this is the natural form which is more probable to landslide, but now if you cut and if you create a systematic way, then it's lesser probable for the landslide. So systematically and scientifically modification of slope has been done into a particular area, and for that purpose we need to carry out the extensive geotechnical survey also for that. So expertise is also important in this modification of slope geometry. Then proper drainage measures also are important. If there is no any proper drainage, then the water get infiltrate into the soil and rocks, and this gets moistured, and it is very probable for the landslide or slip of this whole material. So you can see here, this is the very poor drainage measures, and due to the drainage the whole road is getting collapsed down. So it is again one of these slopes, the upper water is getting penetrating these slopes, and in future it is very probable and risky land to in future can be collapsed down due to the water. So we need to proper drainage measures in those areas which it needs. Then construction or maintenance of retaining walls. Already in some areas in the Western Ghat we have created the retaining wall, but we need to maintain, we need to reconstruct those retaining walls because they have collapsed down. For example, here this is retaining wall already collapsed down due to the rainfall or due to the some other reasons. So here also you can see that these are locations also are representing where actually this retaining wall is collapsed down. So you can see that in those pictures. And if you want to create a new retaining wall, so Sehra, he has mentioned what type of retaining wall can be considered into the particular area. So these are all some types he has mentioned. So with the help of this retaining wall, you can construct or we can maintain the existing retaining wall. Now the second category of preventive measures is the community based preventive measures. So first is the afforestation for the slope stabilization. In order to reduce the erosion, the government departments should replant shallow rooted trees where they have been removed on the slopes and slope bases. Only the site specific and erosion and waterlogging resistant trees should be used for the afforestation. The roots of the native vegetation acts as the good soil binding and provide the soil stability. So community has to take a part into the community oriented afforestation or plantation process. So it is very essential for the preventing the erosion and stabilize the slope or probable slope for the landslides. Then second category is the installation of real-time landslide monitoring units for early warning system. So in order to reduce the losses occurred by the landslide, there is a need for the continuous monitoring of landslide prone hill slopes and providing an early warning system before the occurrence of landslides. The continuous information through the real-time monitoring provides the quick or early warning of landslide activity, improves our awareness of landslide behavior and facilitates more productive engineering and planning efforts. Early warning systems are cost effective. It should be a cost effective means of reducing risk with a low impact on the environment and society. So in our Western Ghat, only the one real-time landslide monitoring units is installed by the Konkan Railway, and this is only one of the example of Maharashtra. And I didn't get another example in Maharashtra. And this installation unit is installed by this Konkan Railway. This real-time monitoring system is giving very effective result, and it's also I can say that it save many losses of the government and community also. So we need to carry out the extensive geotechnical survey, and we have to identify such locations where we can install the early warning system for the real-time landslide monitoring. Then gabion walls also we have to install, wire crates structures also we have to install in the particular areas. This is also one of the site specific example of preventive measures for landslides. Then proper management strategies for tourism practices. This is again community based tourism practices is there. This photograph is taken from Amboli Ghat in rainy season. This is Amboli waterfall is there. So suppose if landslide is occurred near to this waterfall, the losses will be very high. People can lose their property, their life also. So government should properly manage these tourism places, and they need to create a strategies for these tourism practices, and they have to restrict such areas where the probability of landslide is very high. This is again some threats, is potential threats for landslides. It is taken from the Amboli Ghat. This is Fonda Ghat. This is also from Amboli Ghat, and people are crossing behind this landslide prone areas, and some landslide materials also falls down here, you can see that. So this is from again Amboli Ghat. These are all some examples of photographs which are taken from the multiple areas GPS locations, and this maps also representing the hazard map, and this is the intensity for the landslide hazard map, and these are all some photographs taken from the different areas. Then also government and people also restrict to deforestation, and we should take limitation measures for the deforestation. So this is the example of deforestation, and this is image of Google Earth, and this is the actual image taken from this area, and we can see how the slope trees are cut down, and this is the deforestation area, and it is very probable for the landslide hazard because the erosion and the intensity of erosion here the very high. So that's why this slope may be very probable for the landslide hazard. So I would like to say thanks to all of you, or all participants. I very much thankful to Dr. Vasanti Rasam Madam, then Dr. Prakash Chikudekar sir, Dr. Sambhaji Shinde, Department of Geography, Shivaji University, Kolhapur. I very much thankful to organizing secretary Mr. V.G. Sawant sir. I very much thankful to IQAC coordinator Dr. S.S. Khoot sir, coordinator Dr. R.B. Patil sir, and convener Dr. P.S. Raut sir. Once again, thank you to all of you.
Thanks, Mr. Abhijit Patil, for informative and knowledge shareable session. Thank you very much. Now I declare the national webinar has been over. The feedback form and certificate link will be sent on Telegram group, so please fill up the feedback form for your printable certificate. Once again, thank you very much to one and all. Thank you.